Need more Mike Delivers? Head over to patreon.com or download the Patreon app and type in Mike Delivers. Get a full catalog of bonus podcasts like the one time Mike crashed his wife's 2007 Toyota Rav4, behind-the-scenes videos, and more food reviews. Go to Patreon and check it out now.
My name is Mike Biseglia. I'm 37 years old, and I use the Lawnmower 3.0. Use my promo code Mike Delivers, all one word, and you can get 20% off plus free shipping on your own Lawnmower 3.0. What is the Lawnmower 3.0? It is an electric trimmer that cleans your ball hair. I recommend it. I use it, and it's helped my life tremendously. As a 37-year-old that's feeling bad about himself because he turned 37 and the age has turned a corner, the best thing I have going for me right now is the Lawnmower 3.0. Use my promo code Mike Delivers, all one word. You get 20% off. You can even have mine. You can have my used Lawnmower 3.0.
Welcome inside Mike Delivers from his wife's, cat's, his own living room. Here's your host, Mike Biseglia.
That's right, this is Mike Delivers, episode number 74, and I'm your host, Mike Biseglia, and I'm coming to you from my wife's kitchen, not living room, need to get that revoiced, in Bloomfield, New Jersey. Today, my wife and I just tried from Subway the spicy Italian, all part of May Madness, all part of Sandwich May Madness Month, which we'll talk about in just a matter of moments. Thank you to everybody downloading this podcast. You can find it on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, TuneIn, and anything else you can think of. Please email me at MikeDeliversPod@gmail.com, or you can find me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Mike Delivers Pod. Leave a message there, and I will read it on the air, which I will do at the end of this episode as well. Big thank you as well to the O'Brien Creative Group. They are the ones that made my incredible logo. You see it, Mike Delivers, all over the place on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Mike Delivers Pod, and I appreciate all the hard work from the O'Brien Creative Group to develop my beautiful logo, different versions of it. And what I love about them is besides the great logo that you see all over the place here with Mike Delivers Pod, they help you with brand identity, and they've done a fabulous job with that so that Mike Delivers Pod is more than just a podcast. You see the video, food reviews, the logo there, all great ideas from the O'Brien Creative Group. So this podcast would not be the same without them. If you want some help from them, maybe it's logo work, brand identity, they've got it for you. Check them out at o'briencreativegroup.com. Also in the show notes here of this podcast. Jess, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Thank you so much. It's been a fun day. So we continue our May Madness, some sandwiches. Last week was Jimmy John's. No, it's not true. Last week was... It's funny because last week you kept calling it Jimmy John's when it was Jersey Mike's. And now it got in my head. Last week we had Jersey Mike's roast beef. This week we're having from Subway the spicy Italian. And you had a great idea to do this for the month of May, to have these fun different sandwiches. And I have to actually give you credit too, because I said I love the idea, but what are we going to do? What sandwiches are we going to get from these spots? And you said, I have an idea. You did some research, you did a great job, and you said, let me find what's like the go-to sandwich, what they're known for. So last week was the roast beef special at Jersey Mike's. This week is the spicy Italian from Subway. And I have to yell at myself because there's been so many fucking annoying food names that we've had, like the blah, 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 from blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it's an easy one, the spicy Italian. And I keep wanting to call it the Italian spicy for some reason. But I don't know. But I liked your reasoning, your rationale on how we got to this idea to find the sandwich that was their specialty. So tell me about your research with Subway.
Okay, so it was pretty much the same as the last week. I pulled a couple different lists, like national lists. of people ranking the sandwiches.
Okay.
And this came up number 1, like 3 out of 4. So I said, okay,
Gotcha.
this is close enough. Same thing with the other ones that
Okay.
that we looked at for Jersey Mike's. So I think the idea is you want them to put their best foot forward. Like,
Yes.
you know, you don't want somebody to be like, okay, I make this amazing cheesesteak and here's like the worst ham sandwich you ever had.
Right.
As a comparison. So I think this was a pretty good, reasonable comparison for like, this was one of the better Subway sandwiches, I think, that I've had.
I used to get Subway a lot. I have not had it in a long, long time.
When was the last time you think you had it? I think I know
Last
when
time
mine
I
was.
had... Oh, and I'm so excited to tell the one Subway story from Long Island. The last time I had Subway sandwiches, probably with your dad and brother in Pittsburgh, but I don't know exactly. But that would be my educated guess.
Mine was at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. I was there for work. And
You were in Cincinnati?
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
No,
What
it
this?
was not. It was not Cincinnati. It was Columbus.
Okay, I was like, I
Columbus.
don't remember you ever going to Cincinnati.
It was
And then I was like, I don't listen, so...
No, it was Columbus. Whatever the hospital is there.
Okay.
And across the street, we went to a Subway, and I got a salad, and they were really pushing avocado. And it was really good. I've only had their salads a couple of times. 'Cause
Gotcha.
They're basically like, let's chop up your sandwich and throw it on lettuce. So like, you might as well just get the sandwich at that point. But, because it's not fun.
I've done a couple of salad deliveries from Subway.
Really?
As an Uber Eats driver.
Is that even an option anymore? I don't think I saw it on the app.
I mean, it's been a while. I couldn't tell you exactly, but I definitely have done it. It's the Subway in Orange, New Jersey, I want to say, is the one I went to, or it's East Orange. I get my oranges mixed up. It may have been West Orange. I don't know.
I feel like
One of the oranges in New Jersey.
We've been doing quite a number of very, very close to us fast food places that we even never tried before.
Yeah.
This is another one that debatably walkable.
Yeah, I mean, not for what we're doing.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't
you
want to
could
go
walk
get a
it.
sandwich.
I forgot that Subway, and to give people reference, it's probably a drive of 6 minutes, I want to say.
It's under a mile.
But the traffic's a little weird, and some lights can take a while.
There's a hospital, and like you have to go through
Your favorite intersection.
Yeah, there's like 2 very troubling intersections, which is why I'm like, oh, I'm gonna walk. Yes, we've never been there.
I forgot that Subway was even there. When we had talked about doing Subway, the only ones I thought of...
Really far
there's
away.
one I go to... I think it's like in Caldwell or something.
Well,
which is for people listening that don't know, that are from other parts of the country outside of, I don't know, the bubble I'm talking about, is like a 15 to 20 minute drive. I didn't even realize that there was a Subway a mile from our house.
Yes. Caldwell's where the Sopranos live. That is its claim to fame.
Yes.
I think there's a lot more Subways than you know about.
That's what
To be honest. Because also, there's 40,000 of them.
That doesn't make any sense. Where
But
are
they're
these things?
everywhere. Like, if you look at a strip mall, they just don't mean anything to you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
What do you mean by not mean anything?
because they're everywhere.
But what
You're
do you
not
mean?
like, oh, that's a Subway.
Gotcha. I guess not. I mean, that was surprising to me when you said that there were more Subways than McDonald's. I still don't know if I buy that.
Like, I would say
I don't think that's
around
right.
here also, like, something I would never be like, there's a Dunkin' Donuts there, is the fact that there's a Dunkin' Donuts everywhere
Yeah,
here.
no, I know. We have one potentially building until all this shit broke loose that was on a mile from each other, but just in different
Yeah,
directions.
so we
on the
have-
same street.
We have our half a mile to the right or half a mile to the left.
Yeah,
Dunkin' Donuts.
I know, really.
So, but that's what I mean is I think it's so ubiquitous that you're just like, you don't even notice it. Like, you don't clock it. Because they're
Yeah.
everywhere.
We had a fun Subway story from work. They, like, before the Super Bowls, Subway would do, like athletes, before the Super Bowls, and in CBS Sport, for sports radio, I'll try this again. Before the Super Bowl, guys that were being drafted would typically, now that they're, or players, I am doing an awful job with this story. Holy shit. Before the Super Bowl.
I don't
do
even
I edit
know
this
what...
or just keep going?
I have no idea what you're going to say.
The payoff's going to be fun. So before the Super Bowl, athletes have they promote stuff. So you get access to some of the bigger end stars of sports, and they come on your radio shows. And then in return, they're promoting something. And one of them was for the Tiki and Tierney show. and it was Marcus Mariota when he was coming out of college, I believe, and he was, or maybe he was 1 year in the NFL. I don't know exactly, but he did something with Subway, and they made a Marcus Mariota figure, his head, out of Subway sandwiches.
Out of sandwiches?
Out of their deli meats and sandwiches, and it was terrifying. I gotta find this on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay.
It's Marcus Mariota's face out of Subway food.
That's horrifying.
I know, but that was the promotion, and they brought it to work, and people were like eating it. So they were like,
"Oh God, I do love those where it's like you're having like a random conversation."
I gotta see if this is there. It was the Marcus Mariota Subway sandwich.
At some point,
I'm not making this up. I'm not insane.
We'll have to dig into your Radio Row experience on one of these, but. I do love those interviews where it's like the most natural interview, then all of a sudden it's like, I get sweaty. I use degree deodorant. Oh my God.
Right?
That's terrifying.
It's the Marcus Mariota sandwich, and it's terrifying.
I didn't even read the... Oh my God. I mean, that could truly be any human.
I guess maybe his head wasn't made out of the food, but like his shoulder, I don't know, like his hair.
No, I think his head looks like it was sculpted out of lunch meat.
So is his head?
And his hair is mushrooms? His lip, I think... Oh God, his lips are red peppers. So are his ears, both. Oh, and his shirt says Subway and green and yellow peppers. Holy shit!
There was another player too that did it, but the Marcus Mariota one stood out to me.
Oh my God, that's the stuff nightmares are made of.
Yeah, there's
truly.
your Marcus Mariota. Yeah, peppers, lettuce. That's fucking disturbing.
How have we never discussed that before?
Is that peppers? Or is that mushrooms as his head?
Yeah, it is.
It looks nothing like him.
I mean, no, it looks like a generic man.
Yeah.
Who needs to get his eyebrows
So anyway,
done.
I told you the story. You just had to bear with me getting through with that. It was worth it. That was the Marcus Mariota Subway.
Did you have any?
No.
Wait, did they make numerous ones, or is that the one from CBS?
I don't. I got it. That I don't know. They probably made numerous ones. I couldn't tell you.
Man, that is so funny.
But I think I was doing the morning show at the time, so I didn't cross paths with the thing. Like I just.
That's probably safe.
Yeah, I don't think I would have eaten it. But yeah, that's the.
It's a molded turkey.
That's
face.
the Subway sandwich.
Oh my God.
But to go back to your original question, I think it was with your dad. Is the last time I had one.
my dad likes some Subway.
He does. Now I know you have a lot of Subway experience, and the number one for you is that it was in your dorm in college, so there's a smell. I'll let you explain this.
Okay.
Subway just...
So there's...
Everybody knows that Subway smell.
Okay, so for undergrad, I went to Duquesne University, which is in Pittsburgh. It's downtown Pittsburgh. Kind of like on the edge of the bad neighborhood in downtown. And when I first went there were only... basically first and second years... Oh God, I'm such a University of Virginia person. Freshmen and sophomores. Yeah, right. I went there for 4 years, went to UVA for 6 years, so I'm allowed to make that error. Freshmen and sophomores stayed on campus, and then typically you would move to a house on the south side, which is now not a good neighborhood, but then was, which is sort of weird.
Yeah.
It's where the bars are. It is Party Central. It's the kind of place where I think we talked about, was it a Patreon episode about how you would hit up 10 bars a weekend or a night, you would just bar hop all weekend,
right?
And drink shitty light beer, and it's just kind of a disaster. But it felt very safe, and it's not maybe so much now. But anyway, I didn't really want to make that commute. I was working full time in college, and I was in college, and it was just easier to roll out of bed and just go right into class. So there's a building that was an apartment building, and you probably don't know any of this part of the story. It was basically an apartment building in downtown Pittsburgh, and it was primarily Art Institute kids or people who were doing maybe not staying at a university that had housing.
Okay.
So there's a Carnegie Mellon and Pitt and Duquesne, and they're all so close together. And Point Park, and everything is super, super close together. But this would be if you were doing some other type of education. Right. So Duquesne bought it.
Okay.
And threw everybody out.
Gotcha.
Capitalism. And just chucked everybody out. This building was in the worst shape. I cannot explain it. Well, I will try to explain it. They had a roach problem. Have I told you this?
No, I don't think so.
So I lived there for 2 years, which when you hear the first year, you're going to be amazed. I stayed there for a second year. It was on campus. It was an apartment. It was $400 a month. It had a gym in it. And a Subway. But there was, so it had like trash chutes. It was like 20, that was a 24 stories, something like that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You can actually see, it's one of the first things you see when you go over one of the bridges.
I think you showed me as we're driving by. Yeah.
It's tall, but it's also on a hill. And they were having roaches coming out of the trash situation, like the trash chute. So you would wake up. We had to stuff every single door, so like the front door, the bedroom door, everything, with like towels every night before going to bed. You'd be like typing on your computer, and a little roach would just like scuttle across. I mean, I cannot tell you how tough I was then. I was just like, okay, this is what we've got. And then they did. So then at Christmas, they bug bombed it.
Yeah.
They moved me and my roommate to this, like, palatial, like, upstairs while they did our floor. I had quite the New Year's party because all my girlfriends were came.
How old are you now?
I'm 21, and I live in downtown Pittsburgh. And all my friends from high school were coming home and, like, staying with their parents.
Right.
Yeah, so we, like, went...
I don't think I knew about this party.
Yeah, well, we all went out. Yeah. And then we all went back to my place, and, you know, it was really, really fun, actually, to have that...
That's nice.
Like, nice, giant apartment for, I think, like, a month or two. Well, they, like, systematically bug-bombed each room. And then it got a lot. That was... But you have to think about that. That was Christmas. So that's a full semester of, like, not knowing when or where a roach is showing up. And I'm talking... They were all the little baby ones, and they were fucking everywhere. The trash chute... This is a bird to make me throw up thinking about it. Had a radius of them. So you'd walk down the hall, and there was just like a semicircle around the trash chute of just like little bodies, just like
oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, so it was basically squalor.
This is your Subway life.
But it was better than the dorm, so I stayed for a second year. So
fair enough.
Anyway, in conclusion, so the basement of there's an external entrance. On the, I guess it's probably like the basement floor, there was a Subway that had been there forever. It was the only game in town that was not on your meal card.
Right.
And it was right next to the gym. So the gym smelled just like that Subway bread smell. And this was in the days...
It's amazing, that smell.
Well, apparently they use some type of chemical that's also in yoga mats. And then people are like, oh, there's yoga mats in your, you know, bread.
Yeah.
But no, it's just like some preservative.
Right.
And, oh my God, that gym smelled, because they would start baking in the morning. And if you worked out in the morning, it was it was like working out in a bakery.
That's so funny.
That smell is so pungent. And you know that smell. You walk in the lobby, people would be like, is there a Subway around here?
That gave me an idea who we should have on to actually maybe be like an addition to this. Sean Marash, from who I work with at CBS. He worked at Subway for like 2 years or something.
Oh my God.
Or I don't know how
Can I interview him?
If you want to, I can set it up. Yeah, so I'd be interested. Apparently he saw some gross shit. So I think that would be interesting to get his side of that.
So then, you know, to put it all together, this was in the same building with all the cockroaches.
Yes.
But it was the only thing, like, and I brought this up on some episode, this Patreon, I have no idea, where Duquesne, like, stopped feeding you at 6 p.m. So instead of having, like, the freshman 15, everyone would come home, like, skinnier, because you were like,
no dinner.
Shit, I didn't even wear 6, I'm eating at 6 at the vending machine. Yeah. So Subway was the only game in town, and I went to Point Park University to take ballet classes a couple nights a week, because that was, like, my thing then.
Yeah.
And kind of has been for a long time. And so they would be closed by the time I came back. Sometimes I would actually get Point Park's cafeteria. I did walk 1 mile each way downtown in leotard alone. Probably not great calls.
Probably not great.
But I'm here to tell the story, so.
Or we think.
Yes, or I'm a ghost. So that was up until 8 o'clock. So you had that until 8 o'clock as an option. But man, that place at 7:45 was like lined up because, you know, night classes and stuff, and that was the only game in town. Option you had. So I will say that I rotated between 3 things. Heavy rotation. Turkey and ham.
Turkey and ham. Ham and turkey.
Yeah. Sweet chicken teriyaki.
That's a classic with the green peppers. No, the green peppers.
So my order was basically lettuce, tomato, onion, pickles, I think a little mustard. Or honey. If they had honey mustard, it was honey mustard. I don't know.
That sounds maybe more right.
and on whatever that was. On the ham or the turkey and ham. And I think with the sweet onion teriyaki, just like maybe like tomato and lettuce. Something more simple. But yeah. And then baked chips. That was a real, like, this was like early 2000s, like a real baked chip time, you know? When like every chip was available, but as the baked version of it.
Oh my god, this is so cool. I'm so healthy now.
Yeah, like, I'm so healthy with my baked lays.
I should mention, too, coming up in Tuesday's episode. So if you're listening to this Thursday, that means Tuesday's episode, I speak with a Pittsburgh Steeler, Ulysses Gilbert, who talks about the South Side.
Oh, really?
So you brought up the South Side, and he brings it up.
I had no idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
He talks about the restaurants and bars down there, and he's an NFL player.
And they're going to be 50-50. 50% of them will be the same. They've been the same since my dad went to Duquesne, and the other 50% are going to be there for like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
you know,
like no windows, can't see.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, you could go to Jack's at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, and people are in there drinking. I mean. Sometimes I do wonder how I'm alive now.
I know, you're scaring me.
I'm scaring myself.
I thought we were here to talk about turkey sandwiches, but I guess we're talking about your
yeah, we're talking about urban college going. Although then again, by the same token, UVA was probably scarier. More people.
You just got to be
more
safe.
People were murdered at UVA.
I know. Now I'm getting all depressed. Let's change the subject from murder to more lighter things like ham and lettuce and tomatoes.
All right, so what's your childhood experience? And I want to hear one of your last experiences.
So I can't even believe I'm in shock that I even got Subway that one time, which I'll talk about in a second. I don't even know why.
Yeah, that's so unlike you.
So unlike me. I didn't really have it that much as a kid. Maybe once in a while. I didn't really eat until I got older. It wasn't something. Like growing up in New Jersey area, there were so many farm spots. I just didn't do it.
When did it become more common? Like college?
I guess maybe in
like
college.
High school when you're like.
Maybe I never got Subway. To this day, I always went with like a local place. I always went with a local spot. I mean, I'm sure I did it, but not enough to have a memory to talk about.
Wow.
Yeah, I know nothing. Just know my early introduction to those spots, I went to Quiznos. I went to Quiznos early because as you know from me, I have a thing against like cold sandwiches, especially when I was younger. I didn't like them as much. So I would go to Quiznos because they did the hot sandwiches. And they were like, I loved Quiznos. It was ahead of its time. You could get the melty cheese on like, what was it, the meatball and the chicken.
I feel like Quiznos, for my zeitgeist, didn't happen until college.
I definitely had it in high school.
Okay.
Definitely had it.
I definitely remember going in college, but I don't remember it existing before that. And also, when I first went to UVA for grad school, I do remember it would be on the turnpike, and you could get a decent sandwich there.
Are they out of business now?
I don't know. That's actually what I was trying to look up. And when I looked it up, the only
around?
Location it asked me for was in Colorado. And
all right, well, we're going to Colorado to get the Quiznos.
Because I think this would be an amazing, like, dark horse option. I definitely loved Quiznos.
I have not done a Quiznos order for Uber Eats since I've been doing it. I can tell you that.
Okay, I just put in our zip code, and the website didn't even do anything.
Nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything.
But there was a Quiznos. I don't remember where it was growing up. It wasn't in Tenafly, but it was in one of the surrounding towns, and I would go pick it up a lot.
Trenton is the only one in New Jersey.
So there is one in Trenton. Well, I guess if we're ever driving back from somewhere over there,
down to Virginia or
I guess
DC
maybe we could take a pit stop in Trenton and pick one up. But yeah, Subway just never.
It's in the travel plaza. It's convenient.
Never really did it. Never really got to it. And then when I started to get them, when I was a little older, like in college, the places I would think of, like I probably got them in Charlottesville because like Brad Owens loved it. The guy I live with. The sweet chicken teriyaki was my go-to, and the meatball without the cheese. And then that bread would get so soggy.
Delicious.
It was just weird. Like I'll have a whole wheat honey bun with some meatballs with no cheese. Oh.
That got a bad rating.
The meatball?
Yes. No, okay. Once you were starting talking about Quiznos, it jogged a memory for me that I do believe on the Doughboys, a great food podcast, that they mentioned that I think they've called it the Quiznos effect, where something took off, grew too big, and had to scale back.
What do you mean?
There was one Quiznos every 50 miles, and people were like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" So then they opened up 4, and it couldn't. What they said was the quality couldn't keep up with the number of stores. Does that make sense?
It does. Well, there's a Quiznos. There was one in Montclair where we live.
It's all dilapidated.
You go by it, you can still see the logo sort of faded off.
I can't believe it hasn't been bought in the last couple of years.
Yeah,
now maybe, but that location is sick. It's in downtown Montclair.
So 2 parts. One, do you think Subway then? I guess they did. They took the heat up the sandwich idea from Quiznos. Because they weren't doing it beforehand.
They were doing it when I was at Duquesne, for sure.
But Quiznos was the originator, yes. I want to say.
I think they... Yes. I remember the different versions of it. Because there was also, during the low-carb phase, they did a low-carb wrap, too.
Gotcha.
So I think they try to keep up with the times, but they kind of do their own thing.
Now, and I understand, for example, the sandwich we got today, the spicy Italian. It's deli meats, so you put them in the sandwich. So the meatballs, are they coming frozen from a factory?
I don't know that.
Or is there somebody is Nona in the back stirring?
No, they're definitely coming.
Where are they?
Oh my god! I just had another memory.
Of course, I trigger them.
The guy I dated right before we started dating,
looking forward to it.
1 week before. No. His family bought 2 Subways.
Oh,
they did really well. They both had I think it was BMWs, and the one had a light, and by I mean York, Pennsylvania, loaded. Yeah.
From what you've said of this guy, I'm a little nervous he hears it and comes and kills me. So
I know, I am too.
Just
anyway, they had license plates in 6-inch and 12-inch on the 2 different cars, which also is gross. Because
of penises.
Yes,
people think of big penises.
Yes, or a medium-sized penis.
12 inches is a big penis.
They have a 6-inch and 12-inch.
That's a lot to handle. Even in York.
But anyway, they did very well. So,
gotcha.
So anyway, when you were asking about that, no, they're very much, from what I understand, a franchise in a box.
Gotcha.
Here's your Subway, and then you keep it up to your standards.
Right.
Depending on what you do. But, yeah, I don't know. I think everything it's so standardized. That taste, that smell, there's no difference.
Future episode that could be good is to do about Ben and Jerry's, because I worked there for 3 weeks, and I have some great stories.
It was an eventful 3 weeks.
Yes,
okay.
That wasn't for me. Let me tell you about the Subway that I had recently in Long Island in Huntington. I don't remember why I got Subway for lunch. Not like me typically. Like I mentioned before, I usually get something that's more of a local spot. But for this time, I went to Subway for whatever reason, and maybe I got it at work. Is what happened. I get it in the city.
You got it somewhere in New York City. I think I
got it in New York City. Had half the sandwich, brought it back with me. So this chicken sandwich sat in my bag for
and it was sweet chicken teriyaki?
It was one of the chickens. I couldn't tell you what. It sat in my bag for probably 20 hours of not being refrigerated. And then I put the chicken sandwich back in the fridge at our house. The next day, I ate it, and I was feeling okay, feeling all right. And then we went for dinner at a really fun restaurant in Huntington.
Tom Colicchio from Top Chef.
What was the name of that place? Swallow. And this is before they did that massive addition. So this is Swallow when it was...
we got reservations months in advance. Yes, yeah. Tiny tables, tiny tapas. We'd saved up money for it.
Big time good food. And we're sitting in there. And what did we have? We had one appetizer. It was like a cheese.
Cheetos?
It was like some fancy form of Cheetos put together. And all of a sudden I look at Jess, I go, I don't feel good. And I was like, we have to leave now. So we left.
Had no money. We're at this nice restaurant.
Had to bolt, go home, and I just puked my brains out. And that sandwich and that old chicken. So, nothing against Subway, more against probably having chicken in your
food safety rules.
Food safety rules. I think that's what did it. Not the actual quality of the meat from Subway, so sorry about that. But that was my experience with Subway. And I was like, that must have been what it was. I got it at work, brought it back from the city into New Jersey, And I probably just went because everybody at work was going to get it or something, which would make sense. Which is also scary that I can't remember stories from
5 years ago.
It was like 7. That's why I can't remember. It's a long time ago now. 6, 7 years ago.
So it does look like the only Ben & Jerry's is probably the one you worked at.
In Englewood?
Yes, there's only 2 in northern New Jersey.
That's odd.
The closest one is Rockefeller Center from our house.
But Englewood would be quicker.
Yeah, from a driving.
So you're telling me there's no other Ben & Jerry's in the New Jersey area?
Nope.
It's stunning.
Yep, Englewood.
We went to the Ben & Jerry's.
There's one in Newark Airport. That's the other one.
Okay.
We're not doing that anytime. We used to travel a lot. We're not doing that anytime soon.
No, we did. I've been to the original shop in Vermont.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, and my family up there. And
you have family in Vermont?
I do.
Who?
It's my grandma's sister, my great aunt.
Oh,
lives in Vermont. My Aunt Bunny.
New information.
But I don't know, and I guess when we were driving, we went to the Ben & Jerry's place, and all I remember from that is my dad's car died, and somebody had to jump the car.
Oh, okay.
That's my big memory from there.
All right, well, keep that for the Ben & Jerry episode.
All right, I will do that. So that's the story about how I vomited from eating Subway. All right, Jesse, you want to get to the ratings on this bad boy?
Well, yeah, but we should talk about a little bit like what we actually had.
Sorry. Yes, what we actually had, and then your experience picking it up there. Because, again, you were the one inside the store. How was it for you? Again, a close drive.
It was a challenging order on their app. Still social distancing and all that jazz. So I didn't want to have it delivered. It's so close to our house. I'm like, I will just go get it with my little mask on. And I ordered it on the app. Oh, I put my credit card number in 55 times. I tried. I was like, oh, maybe they don't take American Express. Oh, maybe they don't take Visa. At one point, they wouldn't take either of them. I put in freaking PayPal. Okay? So then I tried to order it using PayPal. And apparently, I get no confirmation it goes through. So I'm like, but I get a timeout error. I just get an error message. So I go back and I do it again. This time I go back to the article that said the best way to have it is with oil, salt, and pepper. And I was like, oh, well, I'll add that. And they call me immediately and they're like, Jessica, we saw that you had 2 orders.
Which is a good job by them.
Yeah, we already made the first one. Do you want us to make the second one? By the same
great job by them.
Only sandwich in there on the table.
So they were, but that's courteous of them because they could have just made it and double charged you.
Yes, and I only
got
charged
But they are actually
once.
like, you know what? This may be a mistake.
But then all of a sudden our American Express card was on the app. I don't know. There were so many error messages on this app. I was like, this is a nightmare.
Okay.
So it's like if you take an experience of picking up Panera, this was kind of the opposite of that. I was like, I would not do this again because it was just so inconvenient.
But actually picking it up seemed to go well.
Yes, that was totally fine.
Because there's nobody there.
Nobody
you walked
was there.
in, the sandwich was ready.
The sandwich was ready. It was. They had a table for Uber Eats, and then I guess they had a countertop shelf of other people's sandwiches, and that's where mine was. And he was like, "That's yours." When I walked in, I was like, "Okay." And it was
thank you.
He was very far back, and I was very far front. So I guess, I really had to have been the only one for him to be that sure it was me. I guess.
Yes.
He didn't ask my name. He was like, "It's yours."
Yeah, he's like, "I've been waiting all day." Thank you.
He was like, "Thank God you came here."
Right,
it was
exactly.
just, I don't know. Let's be honest. My mom would not be pumped if we brought her to Subway. And I do feel like that could be a possibility in my family.
What do you mean?
Then my dad would be like, Subway for lunch.
Yeah.
You can kind of see that, right?
I guess your mom would have a salad from there, or...
Yeah, my mom's a foodie, though.
Yeah, the Subway would be
She had
tough.
homemade sausage and pepper pizza today. So
I like
for
that.
lunch. Okay, so we have the spicy Italian. What is on the spicy Italian? Now, here is something that's a little bit of a discrepancy. Is this article says pepperoni, salami, and cheese. We went default. It just had pepperoni and salami.
Gotcha.
I have to say that I feel like Italian subs, at least in Pittsburgh, like a lot of hot Italian subs there, that there's like capicola and prosciutto. There's like more meats than just 2 on it. I'm surprised that there are only 2 meats.
I think that's the standard for most places. I don't know if that's a Pittsburgh thing. I think that's just like
I'm just saying that's what I'm used to growing up, at least.
Same as me. I think that's just the way Subway does it. You usually get 4 or 5 different meats.
Okay, so 2 seemed a little slim to you,
I was surprised by it. It was low.
Yeah, the volume was fine, but I was just like, just 2... Okay, fine. But anyway, ours did not come with cheese by default, so I didn't add it.
Gotcha.
And it did come with tomato, peppers, and lettuce. I did not add the oil, salt, and pepper because that whole kerfuffle happened. So I got that, and then I got it on the 9-grain wheat. Or 9, I don't know, I have to check the name of it. Whatever it was, the 9, yeah, oh, wow, I was actually correct.
Nice
9-grain
job.
wheat as the best option for the bread. So that was, like last week with Jersey Mike's, we went with the white because they said that was the best. This time we went with that because they said that was just like the best showing. The other thing to note is that they tested all of these sandwiches cold because that's kind of more their default.
Okay.
So
if you heated it up, though, would they heat the meat up and then put the lettuce, tomato on after?
Yes.
Okay, I was worried about that. I'm like, because
I
want wilted
and the reason
lettuce.
I know they got heated up when I was at Duquesne is because I usually liked them.
Gotcha.
Because if there's cheese on it, like, just do it. I like a toasty sub, so I would do that.
No, I was just double checking. I wasn't sure if because you can't heat
you
up
have to
lettuce.
eat it right away, though. That's the only thing with that, because otherwise
Would have made for an interesting heat factor, though.
I know, but I'm just following their guidelines.
No, I know.
So anyway, that's what we ended up having. So it was the spicy Italian on 9-grain wheat.
So let me just do this real quick because I think it'll be interesting.
I'm sorry. That also had cucumbers on
yes,
it.
there were
cucumbers. Green peppers.
Don't remember.
I didn't run into any. I'm not a fan of green peppers.
When we did Jersey Mike's last week, just because I think it's interesting to compare these sandwiches. Takeout presentation, I had a 5.5, you had a 7. Heat factor, I had a 9.5, you had a 9. And taste, we each went with an 8. So with that in mind, Jesse, let's do takeout presentation. Would you like me to go first?
Of course.
All right, takeout. I went here. At first, I talked about when I saw the green and yellow, I was like, I like this color combo, but it's so weird. Why would anybody have this? And you're like, it's like the Oakland Athletic jerseys. That's what their color scheme is with Subway. It's unique. You don't see it often, though. And then just your classic paper wrapping with the sandwich, the Subway font on there with the green and yellow written across in that cheap little bags that they have. I, as well, went with a takeout presentation here, 5.5, similar to Jersey Mike's. Nothing fancy, not ugly, well wrapped, tight wrapping, which was nice, but nothing that blew me away.
I am going to go with a 6 because it's iconic. Like, it is. You know, I think of like Billy Madison.
I thought of Billy.
Happy Gilmore.
I thought of Happy Gilmore too.
You know, when they like have the Subway.
Yeah, he needs to. He loses his. He needs to get money to help pay for his grandma's house, and then you see him like, I like this 12-inch, and then he smacks it with the golf club.
And I remember watching that when it came out on video when I was in 1996. So like, it's the same. Like, that branding has not changed.
No, it hasn't. They've kept it. Good for them.
So it's iconic, and you get the little bag. So it was, it's iconic. It's nothing special. It's cheap, high volume, but you know exactly what it is. Like with the Jersey Mike's, I still don't really know what that logo is.
Yeah.
The branding's like kind of rough on that. So I'm going to go with a 6.
Heat factor, last week I had a 9.5, and this week I have a 9.5 again. It's just what it's supposed to be. I mean, the vegetables were fresh, they were crisp, and I bring that up not for taste, but for the right temperature. It didn't seem like they were too warm or too cold. And then the meats, if you're not heating them up, they're going to stay at the temperature that they were originally. I don't know how you could fuck it up. Everything was perfect in the way it could be. I'm not giving it a 10 for perfection, but it gets a 9.5 in my book.
I agree. Well, those are true. I mean, let's be honest. Of everything we review, that's probably the thing that is the most room temperature.
Yes.
Like, you can have a charcuterie plate out for like 4 hours, which is basically just like rolled up cured meats. I'm going to give it an 8 just because I wanted the sandwich to be a hot. I just thought it would be better as a hot sandwich.
Even though you're the one that said, we have to do it not hot.
I'm following the guidelines.
Yeah, and then you're mad at the guidelines.
I would be mad. I'd feel like my integrity was challenged if we got a hot Subway sandwich, honestly, because it just feels that's so not true to what they do.
I
so
I
anyway,
understand.
I was just like,
okay.
I didn't even say that when we were eating this. I was like, this is gonna be really good hot.
I know. I was like, that's right. All right, so you went with a 8 for heat factor out of 9.5. All right, taste. When I bit into it, I mean, my first reaction was like, this is okay. This is good. Not like, oh, this is delicious, or like, oh, this is disgusting. I think for me, if I knew that I was having this, like in a pinch, in a spot that was like, oh my God, I need something, like here's this sandwich, I'd be thrilled if that's what came with. I'd be so happy, like middle of the road, nowhere to eat, that's what we ended up on, completely happy. Have I had better sandwiches? Yes. Have I had worse sandwiches? Absolutely. I get that. So the deli meat was good. It had nice spice, flavorful. You mentioned it before, only the 2 meats, so it felt like it lacked a little bit in that area. Bless you. One more for good luck.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, bummer. That's a good sign. The vegetables, as I mentioned before, were good. Nothing it's insanely disgusting. Sometimes I worry about vegetables from these places could get kind of nasty, but they were all fresh. I do think it could have added to it to have a little oil and vinegar on there with salt and pepper. I think it would have made it a little wetter, which I think would have been nice for biting into it. So with all of that, I went with a 6.5. It was good, but nothing spectacular.
I think you laid it out very well about if you were in a bind, this is your option. So I've had, just in my work life, there's a lot of luncheons that either like you attend or you host, and you have no idea what's coming down the pike. It could be, it could be orange chicken buffet. It could be make your own burritos. It could be Panera, Jimmy John's. I think if I saw Subway, I wouldn't be super pumped.
Right.
But if I had this sandwich, I was like, it's not bad. This is actually not bad. I do like, and I guess my parents were telling me, Sebastian Maniscalco, the comedian, has a thing about eating at Subway and like throw all the shit on it. I like, and I mentioned this last week too, I like a lot of stuff on my sandwich. Yeah. So I like that there was the cucumbers and the lettuce and the tomato and onions. If I had gotten that chance to customize it, I would have done like red wine vinegar and like salt, pepper, and salt, pepper, and oregano was what I had added on there. Ooh, watch out. So crazy that didn't happen.
She's pregnant. Here comes it right
Watch out. I'm going crazy now. I'm really gilding the lily. But yes, I think for what I was expecting, I've never had the sandwich for sure from there.
Yeah.
It was not bad.
No.
And it was $4.50.
It's a good, that's not a terrible deal.
But I do have to say,
what about the $5 footlong? We never even got into that.
Oh, wow. Oh,
that was the
Jared.
big thing.
Let's keep this for Subway number 2. It's gonna happen. I do have to say, and there's a great Sporkful episode about this. The 6-inch sub. This was very stressful to me at Duquesne because I was a very hungry person, very, very small, very, very tiny when I was in college, and it always stressed me out because I feel like they would cut the bread like a little smaller for me. And then there's this entire like series of episodes about it that, depending on who you are, how they cut it, or if they'd already pre-cut it for the like imagine like some football player comes in, he gets the 6-inch.
Yeah,
he's getting 8, I'm getting 4. You know, and I'm
Hey, what's up, man? I want my sandwich.
So
I'm Jesse.
I would always be looking because they would have the bread lined up in like these little trays, like troughs. Yeah. And I'd order the bread versus based on like if it already wasn't cut, because that way they'd have to cut me a fresh one.
Sounds like something I would do.
This is I was beyond neurotic about this. I don't know, which is so not me.
I know. I'm like, are you sure this wasn't me ordering?
No, I think it was like college. It was the one chance I had to eat. I was off my meal plan. I was actually paying for it. It was the last option I had to consume anything of the night.
No, I got you. But I like your neuroses.
Yeah, so anyway, I had to bring that up. So, this I thought was a very generous sandwich, and I have to say one other thing. The bread was not as good as Jimmy John's.
Too bad we didn't try that.
Jersey Mike's. Guys, this is a problem. You said all last week I was saying it. It's been 34 years I've been saying this.
Yes. No, the bread was better, I thought, at Jersey. Well, they both start with at Jersey Mike's.
Regardless. It didn't have that Subway smell. I even smelled
it. I'm happy for you on that.
It was a little dry for like a wheat bread, but I like the flavor, but it could have been not as dry, but the flavor was great. So I am going to go with 7.
A 7 for taste. Okay, so all around decent scores. Takeout presentation, 5.5 to 6. You had a 6. Heat factor, 9.5 to your 8. Taste, 6.5 to 7. So The score is a little bit lower than that of the Jersey Mike's. The taste for Jersey Mike's, we went 8.8. Everything else was pretty much similar. Taste, 8.8 Jersey Mike's, 6.5, and a 7 from Subway. So, all in all, I was like, yeah, it was good.
I mean,
I think that's the big takeaway from my end.
Having gone in there, I wasn't as squeamed out by it as I thought.
I'm glad you didn't have the smell problem in there. That means a lot.
Yeah, because I even went in there and I was like, I do have to say I was a little stressed out because it said you couldn't go in without gloves on, which is like not New Jersey protocol here.
And the mask you need.
I had my mask on, didn't have gloves on, but I did have a long sleeve shirt on and I put it over my hands. And he was so far away he wouldn't have known either way. But that did freak me out, so I was really in and out very, very, very quickly. So yeah, it was overall like it wasn't as bad as I thought, to be honest. Like, in a pinch, like on the road, I guess, I would do it again, if that makes sense.
All right, what's the best thing you ate this week?
Oh my
Last
gosh.
7 days.
Oh, boy. Do you have an answer?
The first thing that came to my head was just the fritas vacas from Jersey Mike's, from Cuban Pete's.
Some guy's thing.
Yeah, Cuban
Pete's,
which we had last night, which I thought was really good. The Cuban food.
I had a custom birthday cake made for you.
Oh, that might be the answer to that. Was good.
So Mike likes funfetti, like
Yes.
the Pillsbury box of cake. And there's a local French bakery that makes an embarrassingly cheap homemade 3-layer funfetti cake. They're like, I hope $8 is okay. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you are totally going to be out of business soon. But they made a surprise cake for him. And they topped it with a cake ball, which was magical. That was really good. We don't eat a lot of cake ever, so that was a nice little treat. And it's your birthday.
And yes, so happy birthday, Michael.
To you.
To me. I always mention, if you leave a comment, we will read it here on the pod. Simo Dollars had one this week. Not Loving Asbury Park, which we talked about, but I'm not going to read it because there's words in here I can't say.
Okay, well, you know what? We can take him out for how we do Asbury Park, and I bet he'll like it.
I agree. And then a little Jersey Mike's action. He's into it. He said, fuck Jersey Mike's. Ha ha ha. Food is damn good. Generally, really damn good, actually. But a local spot here, Mike's Jersey Subs went out of business because closed-minded fucks would come in and be mad it was not the chain.
Oh,
They
that's
said,
awful. That's so sad.
I
Because
know.
that's so much better.
I know. So there you have it. Keep them coming. Keep the comments in. And also, thank you to the O'Brien Creative Group. Appreciate all the work they've done for the logo. Mike Delivers. Find it on Patreon. Head over to patreon.com or the app on your phone. Type in Mike Delivers. You can get the story about how my wife's 2007 Toyota Rav4 went bye-bye. And also a backlogged catalog of episodes, videos, food reviews, everything. Bloopers is all on there. Go ahead and become a big tipper on the Mike Delivers Patreon page. Next week, we'll do another sandwich shop. We've got 2 left. We got to do Jimmy John's, and you'll call it Jersey Mike's the whole time.
No, I will not. Everything is Jimmy John's.
So that's coming up next. Thank you, everybody. Please, if you can, leave a 5-star, leave 5 stars, leave a comment, and the attention is super appreciated on this podcast. Thank you, everybody. Jess, I'm glad we got to hear the story about your Subway experience and the smells in college.
Yes, it brought me back, but this was a good palate cleanser.
Goodbye, everybody.